Welcome to Myths for Sleep, where ancient stories meet peaceful rest. I'm James, and this evening we explore the mystical world of Morpheus, the divine architect of our dreams. Journey through 7 chapters that reveal how the son of Hypnos crafts healing visions, delivers sacred messages, and watches over every sleeping soul with infinite compassion. If you find comfort in this tale, please show your appreciation with a like and share in the comments which ancient story should grace our next nocturnal adventure. Your engagement truly helps this channel grow and bring you more tranquil tales. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and surrender to the gentle embrace of Morpheus himself. In the deepest realm of existence, where light never ventures and silence reigns eternal, there dwells a kingdom older than memory itself. This is the domain of Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, whose dark wings stretch across the cosmos, bringing rest to all living beings. Within her shadowy embrace lies a cave so profound that even the gods whisper of its mysteries. Here in this sanctuary of perpetual twilight flows the river Lethe. Its waters carry the gift of forgetfulness, washing away the burdens of consciousness as mortals slip from waking into the realm of sleep. The gentle murmur of these sacred waters creates a lullaby that has soothed countless souls across the ages. It was in this timeless place that Hypnos, the god of sleep, made his dwelling. His presence brings peace to the troubled mind and rest to the weary body. Unlike his brother Thanatos, who brings the eternal sleep of death, Hypnos offers the gentle respite that allows life to renew itself each dawn. His touch is softer than silk, his breath cooler than morning mist. From this union of sleep and dream was born Morpheus, whose very name means he who shapes. The ancient Greeks understood that dreams were not mere phantoms of a sleeping mind, but messages from the divine realm, carefully crafted and delivered by this most gifted of the Honoroi, the dream spirits. Morpheus possessed a gift that set him apart from his 1,000 brothers. While they could take the forms of animals, objects, or natural phenomena in dreams, only Morpheus could perfectly mimic human form. He could become any person who had ever lived, capturing not just their appearance but their voice, their mannerisms, their very essence. The responsibility that came with such power was immense. Morpheus understood that dreams shape the waking world in ways mortals rarely comprehend. A dream of love could inspire a lifetime of devotion. A dream of warning could save a kingdom from destruction. A dream of healing could mend a broken heart. Each vision he crafted carried within it the seeds of possibility. In the earliest days of his existence, Morpheus would wander through the sleeping minds of mortals, observing their hopes and fears. He learned that humans carried within them an infinite capacity for both creation and destruction, for love and hatred, for wisdom and folly. Their dreams reflected this complexity, swirling with colors that had no names and emotions that had no earthly equivalent. The young god began to understand that his role was not merely to entertain sleeping minds with fantastical visions. He was a bridge between the realm of the divine and the world of mortals, a translator of cosmic truths into symbols that human consciousness could grasp. Through dreams, he could plant seeds of inspiration in the minds of artists, offer guidance to troubled rulers, and provide comfort to the grieving. As Morpheus grew in wisdom and power, he developed his own philosophy about the nature of dreams. He believed that in sleep, the barriers between the possible and impossible dissolved completely. The dreaming mind could soar beyond the limitations of physical form, experience love without condition, and glimpse truths that daylight reason often obscured. The cave where Morpheus dwelled became a workshop of infinite possibility. Here, he would gather the raw materials of dreams, fragments of memory, wisps of desire, echoes of forgotten songs, and shadows of unspoken words. With the skill of a master craftsman, he would weave these elements together, creating visions that could heal, inspire, warn, or simply provide the rest that weary souls required. His dwelling was unlike anything in the waking world. The walls seemed to breathe with their own life, shifting between transparency and opacity as thoughts became visible. Flowers of pure light bloomed in corners where darkness should have reigned, their petals formed from crystallized laughter and tears. The air itself carried the scent of every season simultaneously, a eternal spring that existed beyond the constraints of time. Each night, as the sun surrenders to darkness and mortals lay their heads upon their pillows, Morpheus begins his sacred work. He moves through the realm of sleep like a gentle wind, invisible yet essential, touching each dreaming mind with the care of a gardener tending his most precious flowers. The process of dream creation is an art form that transcends mortal understanding. Morpheus first observes the sleeping soul, reading the patterns of their thoughts like a scholar studying ancient texts. He sees their deepest longings written in the rhythm of their breathing, their unresolved conflicts reflected in the tension of their sleeping form, their capacity for joy measured in the subtle curve of their resting lips. With infinite patience, he selects the perfect human form to inhabit within their dream. Perhaps tonight he will appear as a long-lost friend, bringing messages of comfort and reconciliation. Or he might take the shape of a wise teacher, offering guidance through the symbolic language that dreams speak so fluently. Sometimes he becomes a stranger, whose kind words at just the right moment can shift the entire course of a dreamer's life. The transformation itself is a marvel to behold. Morpheus does not simply wear a disguise like an actor upon a stage. Instead, he becomes the chosen person so completely that even their thoughts and memories become his own during the dream. He speaks with their voice because it has truly become his voice. He moves with their gestures because their body has become his temple. This complete metamorphosis requires not just power, but profound empathy. To truly become another person, even briefly, Morpheus must understand them with a depth that few beings ever achieve. He must feel their joys as his own joys, their sorrows as his own sorrows. In becoming everyone, he learns to love everyone. For how can one despise what one has intimately known? The landscapes of dreams that Morpheus creates are drawn from the infinite library of human experience. He might craft a childhood home exactly as the dreamer remembers it, down to the way morning light filtered through lace curtains and the sound of their mother's footsteps in the hallway. Or he might construct impossible architectures where staircases spiral infinitely upward and doors open onto star-filled voids. Each dream serves a purpose in the grand tapestry of mortal existence. A warrior plagued by nightmares of battle might dream of laying down his sword in a field of wildflowers, finding peace at last. A merchant consumed by greed might dream of giving away his wealth and discovering riches of the spirit that gold cannot buy. A mother grieving a lost child might dream of one final embrace, a goodbye that brings healing to her wounded heart. Morpheus understands that dreams must speak in metaphors and symbols, for the sleeping mind perceives truth differently than the waking consciousness. Direct messages rarely take root, but a symbolic vision can bloom in the dreamer's awareness for years to come. A dream of flying might awaken someone to their own potential for freedom. A dream of drowning might warn of being overwhelmed by life's currents. The god of dreams has witnessed the entire spectrum of human nature through his nightly journeys. He has seen saints struggle with doubt in their sleep and watched sinners experience redemption in their dreams. He has observed that in the realm of sleep, all souls are equal, all hearts are open, and all possibilities exist simultaneously. There are nights when Morpheus chooses not to intervene directly, instead allowing natural dreams to flow like water, finding its own course. He serves as a gentle guardian in these moments, ensuring that nightmares do not become too overwhelming, and that pleasant dreams are allowed to unfold without interference. His presence alone brings a sense of safety to the sleeping mind. The most challenging aspect of his work is knowing when to reveal difficult truths through dreams. Sometimes mortals need to confront their fears or face uncomfortable realities about themselves. Morpheus approaches these moments with infinite compassion, wrapping hard truths in layers of symbolism and beauty, making the medicine of self-knowledge easier to swallow. He has learned that the most powerful dreams are often the simplest ones. A dream of walking through a peaceful forest can restore a troubled spirit more effectively than the most elaborate fantasy. A dream of sitting by a quiet stream, watching leaves float by, can provide the rest that a busy mind desperately needs. In his eternal work, Morpheus serves not just individual dreamers but the entire human race. Through dreams, he helps preserve wisdom, inspire creativity, and maintain the delicate balance between hope and despair that keeps mortals moving forward through their brief but precious lives. Among all his duties, Morpheus holds one responsibility above all others: delivering messages from the gods to mortal minds. This sacred trust has been placed upon him because of his unique ability to appear as any human being, making divine communications feel natural and believable to sleeping souls who might otherwise dismiss such visions as mere fantasy. When Zeus himself needs to communicate with mortals, it is Morpheus who serves as his messenger. The king of the gods understands that direct divine appearance often overwhelms mortal minds, leaving them unable to process the message within the awesome display of power. But when Morpheus takes the form of a trusted friend or respected elder, the message can be received with clarity and wisdom. The process of receiving divine messages is a profound experience for Morpheus. He must open his consciousness completely to the will of the gods, becoming a perfect vessel for their communication. In these moments, he transcends his individual identity, becoming one with the cosmic forces that govern existence itself. One of the most famous messages Morpheus ever delivered came in the form of a dream to King Agamemnon during the siege of Troy. Zeus commanded Morpheus to appear to the king as Nestor, the wise old counselor whom Agamemnon trusted above all others. In this form, Morpheus delivered a false dream, telling the king that he could capture Troy immediately if he launched a full assault. This deception was part of Zeus's greater plan to honor his promise to Thetis, the sea goddess who had asked him to bring glory to her son Achilles by allowing the Trojans temporary victory. Morpheus understood that his role was not to judge the wisdom of divine decisions, but to serve as their faithful instrument, even when the consequences might bring suffering to mortals. The weight of this responsibility often troubled Morpheus deeply. He could see how his delivered messages would ripple through the lives of countless individuals, sometimes bringing joy and triumph, other times leading to tragedy and loss. Yet he had learned that mortal understanding of good and evil was limited, while divine wisdom operated on a scale that encompassed all of time and space. Not all divine messages came from Mount Olympus. Sometimes the spirits of the dead would seek Morpheus's aid in communicating with their loved ones still living. These requests required particular sensitivity, for grief-stricken mortals could easily become trapped in dreams of the departed, unable to continue their own life's journey. Morpheus developed a careful protocol for such messages. He would appear as the deceased loved one, but always with subtle signs that this was indeed a dream visitation rather than a return to life. Perhaps the figure would seem to glow with an inner light, or their feet would not quite touch the ground, or they would speak in metaphors rather than direct conversation. The most beautiful messages Morpheus delivered were those of love and reconciliation. Separated lovers would dream of reunion, not as cruel torment, but as a reminder that true love transcends physical distance and even death itself. Estranged family members would dream of forgiveness, planting seeds of healing that could blossom in their waking lives. Dreams of prophecy were among the most delicate messages to convey. The future exists as a tapestry of possibilities rather than a single predetermined path, and mortals who receive prophetic dreams needed to understand that their own choices would ultimately determine which future would come to pass. Morpheus learned to weave warning and hope together in equal measure, showing potential dangers while also illuminating paths to avoid them. Sometimes the gods would ask Morpheus to deliver dreams of inspiration to mortals who served important purposes in the world. A healer might dream of new treatments for disease. A builder might dream of architectural innovations. A poet might dream of verses that would touch hearts for generations to come. These gifts of divine inspiration were among Morpheus's favorite messages to deliver, for they brought creativity and beauty into the world. The god of dreams understood that his role as divine messenger made him a bridge between two very different kinds of existence. The gods experienced time as an eternal present, seeing all moments simultaneously, while mortals lived trapped within the flow of sequential time. Through dreams, Morpheus could give mortals brief glimpses of the eternal perspective, helping them understand their place in the greater story of existence. He learned to read the moral character of each dreamer, adjusting his messages accordingly. A humble soul might receive a dream that revealed their hidden strength and purpose. A proud person might dream of their own vulnerabilities, learning compassion through the experience of weakness. A fearful heart might dream of courage, while a reckless spirit might dream of wisdom and restraint. Over countless centuries, Morpheus witnessed the evolution of human consciousness through the dreams he delivered. He saw mortals gradually developing greater capacity for self-reflection, deeper understanding of justice and mercy, and more sophisticated appreciation for beauty and truth. Each generation seemed to dream in slightly different ways, their sleeping minds reflecting the growth of their collective wisdom. The messages from the gods often came with specific instructions about timing and presentation. Some dreams needed to be vivid and memorable, shocking the dreamer into action. Others required subtlety, planting ideas that would grow slowly over time. Morpheus became a master of these nuances, understanding exactly how to calibrate each dream for maximum effectiveness. Through his endless nights of walking through mortal dreams, Morpheus developed a profound understanding of the human condition that few divine beings possessed. He witnessed the raw vulnerability of sleeping souls, seeing them without the masks and pretenses they wore during waking hours. In sleep, all mortals revealed their true selves, their deepest fears, their most cherished hopes, their hidden shames, and their secret nobility. This intimate knowledge brought Morpheus great compassion for the human race. He saw how mortals struggled against limitations they rarely chose, how they carried burdens that seemed impossibly heavy, and how they continued to love and hope despite facing loss and disappointment repeatedly. Their courage in the face of such challenges moved him deeply, and he began to see his role not just as a messenger or entertainer, but as a healer of souls. Sleep itself became Morpheus's greatest teacher. He learned that this daily surrender to unconsciousness was not a mere biological necessity, but a profound spiritual practice. In sleep, mortals released their grip on the illusion of control that dominated their waking hours. They allowed themselves to simply exist, to be carried by forces greater than their individual will. The god of dreams began to understand that his father Hypnos provided far more than mere rest. Sleep was a form of daily death and rebirth, allowing mortals to let go of the day's accumulation of stress, worry, and negative emotion. Each morning, they awakened slightly transformed, refreshed not just in body but in spirit, ready to face new possibilities that yesterday's exhaustion had hidden from view. Morpheus observed that the quality of a mortal's dreams often reflected the state of their soul. Those who lived with kindness and integrity tended to dream more peacefully, their sleeping minds creating visions of beauty and harmony. Those trapped in cycles of anger, fear, or selfishness often experienced turbulent dreams that mirrored their inner conflict. Though Morpheus would work gently to introduce elements of healing and hope even into their darkest visions. The wisdom traditions of various mortal cultures fascinated Morpheus greatly. He watched as philosophers and mystics developed practices of dream interpretation, recognizing that the sleeping mind often perceived truths that waking consciousness overlooked. These mortals understood that dreams were not random neural firing, but meaningful communications from deeper levels of awareness. Some mortals learned to become conscious within their dreams, a practice that amazed even Morpheus. These lucid dreamers could recognize when they were dreaming and take active control over their dream experiences. Morpheus found these encounters particularly delightful, for he could engage with such dreamers as conscious collaborators rather than passive recipients of his visions. The healing power of dreams became one of Morpheus's most cherished discoveries. He learned that the sleeping mind possessed remarkable ability to process trauma, integrate difficult experiences, and find creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems. A single transformative dream could sometimes accomplish healing that years of conscious effort had failed to achieve. Children's dreams held special fascination for Morpheus. Their sleeping minds remained more open to wonder and magic, less constrained by the logic and skepticism that often limited adult dreamers. In children's dreams, Morpheus could create pure joy and adventure, planting seeds of creativity and imagination that would influence their entire lives. He took particular pleasure in appearing as beloved family members or heroic figures, offering comfort to frightened children and inspiration to young hearts. The dreams of artists, poets, and musicians revealed the deep connection between sleep and creativity. Morpheus witnessed how the relaxation of conscious control allowed new ideas to emerge from the unconscious depths of the mind. Many mortals would awaken with complete poems, musical compositions, or artistic visions that seemed to come from nowhere, but were actually gifts from the realm of dreams. As civilizations rose and fell, Morpheus noticed patterns in collective human dreaming. During times of war and suffering, dreams often carried themes of escape and transcendence, offering weary souls glimpses of peace and beauty to sustain them through dark times. During periods of prosperity and stability, dreams tended toward exploration and expansion, encouraging mortals to reach for higher achievements and deeper understanding. The relationship between memory and dreams captivated Morpheus's attention. He observed how the sleeping mind sorted through the day's experiences, determining what to preserve and what to release. Important moments were woven into the fabric of long-term memory, while trivial details dissolved like morning mist. Dreams served as the organizing principle for this process, creating narratives that gave meaning to raw experience. Morpheus began to see that his work transcended individual lives and touched the very evolution of human consciousness. Through dreams, he helped preserve cultural wisdom, transmit spiritual insights across generations, and guide the gradual development of human understanding. Each dream was simultaneously personal and universal, addressing individual needs while contributing to the collective growth of mortal awareness. The cyclical nature of sleep and waking became a metaphor for all existence in Morpheus's understanding. Just as mortals experience daily cycles of consciousness and unconsciousness, all of creation seemed to pulse with similar rhythms. Seasons cycled from growth to rest to renewal. Civilizations rose, flourished, declined, and gave birth to new forms. Even the gods themselves participated in vast cycles of activity and repose that spanned eons. This deeper wisdom transformed Morpheus's approach to his duties. He began to see each dream not as an isolated event, but as part of an infinite tapestry of meaning that connected all sleeping souls across time and space. Not all of Morpheus's work brought joy and peace to sleeping minds. As the designated messenger of the gods, he sometimes faced the difficult task of delivering warnings, judgments, and prophecies that would bring fear and uncertainty to mortal hearts. These challenges tested not only his skill as a dream shaper, but also his wisdom and compassion as a divine being entrusted with mortal welfare. The most troubling messages came when the gods grew angry with human behavior. Morpheus would be commanded to send dreams of impending disaster, warning mortals to change their ways or face divine retribution. These prophetic nightmares required careful crafting, for they needed to inspire repentance and reform, rather than paralyzing terror that would prevent positive action. One of the greatest challenges in Morpheus's long existence came during the age when mortals began to question the very existence of the gods. As philosophy and rational thinking developed, some humans started dismissing dreams as mere products of digestion or random brain activity. They no longer sought meaning in their sleep visions, treating them as curiosities rather than sacred communications. This skepticism wounded Morpheus deeply, though he understood it as part of humanity's natural evolution toward greater independence. The very gift of reason that made mortals capable of wisdom also enabled them to doubt the sources of that wisdom. Morpheus adapted his approach, learning to work more subtly, planting insights and inspirations in dreams that skeptical minds would attribute to their own subconscious creativity rather than divine intervention. The rise of various philosophical schools presented unique challenges for dream delivery. Stoics required dreams that emphasized acceptance and inner strength. Epicureans needed visions that revealed the deeper pleasures of virtue and friendship. Platonists sought dreams that glimpsed eternal truths beyond the shadows of material existence. Morpheus became a student of human thought, mastering each tradition well enough to communicate effectively with its adherents. Perhaps his greatest test came when he was commanded to deliver the false dream to Agamemnon during the Trojan War. This deception served Zeus's larger purpose of honoring Thetis's request to glorify her son Achilles, but it would lead directly to the deaths of countless Greek warriors. Morpheus struggled with the moral implications of this mission, knowing that his perfectly crafted lie would have devastating consequences. The internal conflict this created taught Morpheus profound lessons about the nature of divine justice and mortal understanding. He came to realize that the gods operated according to laws and purposes that transcended simple human concepts of right and wrong. What appeared as cruelty from a mortal perspective might serve necessary functions in the vast cosmic order that governed all existence. This experience also deepened Morpheus's empathy for mortals who faced impossible moral choices in their own lives. He began to understand that his role was not to shield humans from all suffering, but to help them find meaning and growth within their struggles. Sometimes the most compassionate dream was one that prepared a soul for coming trials, rather than offering false comfort. The problem of nightmares presented another ongoing challenge for Morpheus. While he was not responsible for creating these frightening visions, which often arose from mortals' own inner conflicts and traumas, he felt compelled to intervene when such dreams became too overwhelming. Learning to transform nightmares into healing experiences required extraordinary skill and sensitivity. Morpheus developed techniques for entering nightmares in progress and gradually shifting their content toward resolution and peace. He might appear as a protective figure who offered safety to the dreamer, or he could introduce elements of light and beauty that slowly dissolved the dark imagery. Sometimes he would simply provide the dreamer with the power to confront their fears directly, discovering their own strength in the process. The dreams of those approaching death posed special challenges for Morpheus. These souls often experienced visions that seemed to bridge the world of the living and the realm of the dead. Morpheus had to work carefully with his uncle Thanatos to ensure that such dreams provided comfort and preparation for the final journey, rather than creating false hope for recovery when death was inevitable. He learned that dying mortals often needed dreams that helped them resolve unfinished emotional business, make peace with their life choices, and prepare for whatever mysteries awaited beyond death. These dreams of closure and transcendence were among the most sacred work Morpheus performed, requiring him to touch the deepest wells of human love and forgiveness. The challenge of reaching those who had lost the ability to dream naturally also troubled Morpheus greatly. Some mortals, whether through injury, illness, or spiritual damage, seemed cut off from the healing realm of sleep. For these suffering souls, Morpheus would work tirelessly to find alternative pathways to provide the rest and restoration that dreams normally offered. War presented ongoing difficulties for the god of dreams. Soldiers often carried such trauma that their sleeping minds became battlegrounds of memory and fear. Morpheus learned to enter these tortured dreamscapes with infinite patience, slowly helping warriors process their experiences and find paths back to peace. He discovered that healing such deep wounds required not just single dreams, but ongoing therapeutic work across many nights. The dreams of rulers and leaders carried special weight, for their sleep visions could influence the fate of entire nations. Morpheus had to balance divine messages with the practical wisdom needed for good governance. A king might need dreams that revealed the suffering of his people, while a general might require visions that showed the true costs of war rather than just its glories. Through all these challenges, Morpheus never lost faith in his calling or in the value of his work. Each difficult dream taught him new depths of compassion and understanding. Every moral dilemma refined his wisdom and strengthened his commitment to serving both divine will and human welfare with equal devotion. As ages passed and civilizations transformed beyond recognition, Morpheus continued his eternal service to sleeping humanity with unwavering dedication. He witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of new philosophies and religions, the development of arts and sciences that would have seemed like magic to earlier generations. Through all these changes, the fundamental human need for dreams remained constant, though their forms and meanings evolved with the growing complexity of mortal consciousness. The god of dreams adapted his craft to meet the changing needs of each era. As mortals developed more sophisticated understanding of the world around them, their dreams became more nuanced and symbolic. Where once a simple vision of abundance might suffice to communicate divine blessing, later generations required dreams that spoke to their deeper philosophical and spiritual concerns about meaning, purpose, and moral responsibility. Morpheus observed that human capacity for both good and evil seemed to expand with their growing knowledge and power. Dreams became increasingly important as a counterbalance to the potential darkness of advanced civilization. In their sleep, mortals could access wisdom and compassion that their waking minds sometimes forgot, reconnecting with their essential humanity when the complexities of society threatened to overwhelm their better nature. The emergence of new forms of art and literature delighted Morpheus immensely. Poets began writing about dreams with unprecedented beauty and insight, recognizing them as gateways to deeper truth rather than mere curiosities. Musicians learned to capture the flowing, ethereal quality of dream experience in their compositions. Painters attempted to portray the impossible geometries and transcendent colors that existed only in the realm of sleep. These artistic interpretations of dreams created a feedback loop that enriched Morpheus's own understanding of his craft. As mortals developed more sophisticated ways of thinking about dreams, they became more receptive to subtle and complex dream messages. The god of dreams found himself able to communicate with sleeping minds on levels of depth and nuance that would have been impossible in earlier, simpler times. Religious and mystical traditions began recognizing dreams as legitimate pathways to spiritual insight. Morpheus worked carefully with these developments, respecting the genuine spiritual seeking while ensuring that divine messages were not distorted by human preconceptions or desires for supernatural experiences. He learned to distinguish between souls who genuinely sought divine guidance and those who merely wanted to feel special or chosen. The challenge of serving multiple generations simultaneously required Morpheus to develop unprecedented versatility. In a single night, he might need to appear as a beloved grandmother to comfort a grieving child, as a wise teacher to guide a confused adolescent, as a trusted friend to support a struggling adult, and as a peaceful ancestor to help an elderly person prepare for death. Each form required complete authenticity, for dreams could only heal and inspire when they felt genuinely real to the dreamer. Morpheus began to notice patterns that transcended individual cultures and historical periods. Certain symbols and archetypes appeared consistently in human dreams, regardless of the dreamer's background or beliefs. The image of water often represented emotional cleansing or spiritual rebirth. Flying dreams typically express the soul's longing for freedom and transcendence. Dreams of returning home spoke to the universal human desire for belonging and acceptance. These universal elements revealed to Morpheus the deep unity underlying apparent human diversity. Beneath the surface differences of language, culture, and custom, all mortals shared fundamental needs, fears, and aspirations that transcended their particular circumstances. This recognition filled him with profound love for the entire human family, seeing them not as separate individuals but as facets of a single, magnificent spiritual essence expressing itself through countless unique forms. The relationship between dreams and creativity became increasingly clear to Morpheus as he observed the great artists, inventors, and thinkers of various ages. Many breakthrough discoveries and masterful creations originated in dreams, where the logical mind's limitations dissolved and new possibilities could emerge. Morpheus took special pride in nurturing such creative dreams, understanding that they served not only individual dreamers but all of humanity by expanding the boundaries of knowledge and beauty. He learned to recognize souls who were particularly receptive to creative inspiration and would visit them regularly, sometimes appearing as muses, mentors, or mysterious strangers who offered cryptic but valuable guidance. These relationships with creative mortals brought Morpheus deep satisfaction, for through their work, the beauty and wisdom of the dream realm could enter the waking world and touch countless other lives. The god of dreams also developed a profound appreciation for the courage of mortals who face their darkest dreams without fleeing into denial or distraction. These brave souls often discovered that their worst fears contained valuable teachings about strength, compassion, and resilience. Morpheus would support such dreamers by ensuring that no nightmare was ever purely destructive, always weaving threads of hope and transformation into even the most frightening visions. As centuries flowed like water through his divine consciousness, Morpheus began to understand that his service to humanity was itself part of a greater cosmic dance. He was not merely delivering messages from distant gods, but participating in the ongoing creation of reality itself. Every dream he crafted added to the vast tapestry of mortal experience, influencing not just individual lives, but the collective evolution of human consciousness. The responsibility of this realization both humbled and inspired him. Each night's work carried infinite potential consequences rippling through time and space. A single dream of forgiveness might prevent a war. A vision of scientific discovery might advance healing for generations. A simple dream of love might inspire acts of kindness that touched thousands of lives. Morpheus found himself working not just with individual dreamers, but with the collective unconscious of entire peoples. During times of great crisis or transformation, he would weave shared symbols and themes through the dreams of many, helping communities process change and find common ground for moving forward together. These collective dreams often emerged in waking life as myths, legends, and cultural movements that shaped the course of history. His eternal nature allowed Morpheus to see patterns and connections that mortal minds could never fully grasp. He watched how the dreams of one generation planted seeds that would bear fruit in their children and grandchildren. He observed how individual healing dreams could break cycles of family trauma that had persisted for centuries. He witnessed how visionary dreams could inspire social movements that transformed entire civilizations. The paradox of his existence never ceased to fascinate Morpheus. Though he was immortal and possessed divine powers, his greatest fulfillment came from serving mortal beings whose lives flickered like candle flames in the vast night of eternity. Their brief existence made every dream infinitely precious, every moment of healing or inspiration a sacred gift that could never be repeated in exactly the same way. Through his endless service, Morpheus discovered that love was the fundamental force that gave meaning to all existence. Divine love expressing itself through mortal dreams, human love reaching toward the eternal through sleep, the love of beauty and truth that drove mortals to create and explore despite the certainty of death. All of reality seemed to pulse with this divine love, and dreams were one of its most perfect expressions. In the deepest hours of night, when the world rests in perfect stillness, Morpheus continues his sacred work with the same devotion he has shown since the beginning of time. His understanding has deepened beyond measure. His compassion has expanded to embrace all of existence, yet his fundamental purpose remains unchanged: to serve as a bridge between the divine realm and the sleeping souls of mortals, who seek peace, healing, and wisdom in their dreams. The god of dreams has learned that every ending contains within it the seeds of new beginning. Each night that ends with dawn is followed by another night that offers fresh possibilities for renewal and transformation. Each mortal life that concludes in death gives way to new lives that will carry forward the wisdom gained through countless generations of dreaming. Nothing is ever truly lost, for all experience becomes part of the eternal tapestry that connects all beings across time and space. Morpheus has come to understand that his own existence is itself a kind of dream within the infinite consciousness of the cosmos. Just as he appears in countless forms within mortal dreams, the divine essence that he represents takes countless forms throughout creation, always serving the same fundamental purpose of bringing healing, guidance, and connection to isolated souls who might otherwise despair in their apparent separation from the whole. The paradox of dreams reflects the paradox of existence itself. In sleep, mortals surrender control and discover freedom. In accepting the temporary death of unconsciousness, they find renewal and rebirth. In releasing their grip on the waking world, they open themselves to infinite possibilities that daylight reason cannot imagine. These lessons extend far beyond the boundaries of individual sleep to illuminate the deepest mysteries of life and death, separation and unity, time and eternity. Through his eternal service, Morpheus has become a living library of human experience, carrying within his divine consciousness the dreams of countless billions of souls. Each dream adds to his understanding of what it means to be mortal, to love and lose, to hope and fear, to struggle and triumph in the brief span of earthly existence. This accumulated wisdom makes him infinitely compassionate toward human weakness and endlessly appreciative of human strength. The god of dreams sees clearly now that his work serves not only individual healing but the evolution of consciousness itself. Each dream that brings insight, each vision that inspires creativity, each nightmare that teaches courage contributes to the gradual awakening of humanity to its divine nature. Through countless small transformations occurring night after night across the world, the entire human family slowly grows in wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Morpheus recognizes that the same divine essence that flows through him also flows through every dreaming soul. In appearing to mortals within their dreams, he is not bringing them something foreign, but awakening something that already exists within them. The capacity for wisdom, healing, creativity, and transcendence belongs to every human being. Dreams simply provide a sacred space where these qualities can emerge without the limitations imposed by waking consciousness. This recognition has transformed his understanding of his role from that of a giver to that of a revealer. He does not create wisdom in mortal minds, but helps them discover the wisdom they already possess. He does not impose healing from outside, but awakens the healing forces that exist within every soul. He does not plant foreign seeds of creativity, but tends the creative gardens that are every person's birthright. The eternal nature of his service brings Morpheus profound peace. Unlike mortals who must accomplish their purposes within the constraints of finite time, he has all of eternity to perfect his craft and deepen his understanding. There is no urgency in his work. only the patient devotion of infinite love expressing itself through countless acts of service. Each dream is crafted with the care of an artist creating a masterpiece, regardless of whether anyone will remember or understand its significance. Yet Morpheus also understands that his eternal existence is not separate from the temporal world of mortals, but intimately connected to it. Their dreams give his existence meaning and purpose. Their growth in wisdom and compassion reflects his success in serving the divine plan. Their joy and peace in sleep validate his countless eons of patient work. In serving them, he serves the highest aspects of his own divine nature. As dawn approaches each night and the first dreamers begin to stir toward wakefulness, Morpheus feels the satisfaction of another night's work, completed with love and dedication. Soon the sun will rise, mortals will return to their daily activities, and the dreams will fade from conscious memory. But the healing, insight, and inspiration received in sleep will continue to work within awakening souls, influencing their choices and shaping their character in ways they may never fully understand. And when the sun sets again and mortals once more surrender to sleep, Morpheus will be waiting with infinite patience and boundless love to continue his eternal service. For as long as beings dream, as long as souls seek healing and wisdom in the sanctuary of sleep, the God of dreams will remain faithful to his sacred calling, shaping visions that bridge heaven and earth, time and eternity, human and divine. In the end, Morpheus understands that all existence is itself a kind of dream within the infinite mind of ultimate reality. His service to sleeping mortals is his participation in the cosmic dreaming that creates and sustains all worlds. Through endless nights of patient work, he helps weave the great dream of existence itself, where every soul eventually awakens to the truth of their divine nature and eternal connection to all that is. Until that ultimate awakening arrives, Morpheus continues his gentle vigil, watching over every sleeping soul with the tender care of infinite love, forever faithful to his role as guardian of dreams and servant of the divine mystery that expresses itself through the sacred theater of sleep. I hope this journey through the realm of Morpheus has gently guided you toward the peaceful embrace of sleep. May the God of dreams watch over you tonight, crafting visions of serenity and healing for your restful slumber. If you found comfort in this ancient tale, consider subscribing to discover more mythological stories that will cradle your nights with tranquility. You can now let this video continue playing in the background. The soothing music that follows will help you drift even deeper into restorative sleep. Allow yourself to sink completely into comfort and relaxation. Just as Morpheus tenderly shapes each dream, let this gentle melody shape your passage into the most peaceful rest. Sweet dreams.